Welcome once again to our weekly session of Gather to Grow here on Food for Mzansi's Twitter Spaces. We're talking about kickstarting your career within agriculture. I've invited some speakers to come and join and talk about the opportunities within the sectors that they work, but more just advice around job placement and finding a career that suits you and navigating in this very dynamic space that we all work in. So I think I was asking AgriSeater's Didintle, who is a media and communications practitioner at AgriSeater, just to do an introductory as to what they do and more about her role in agriculture. So Didi, I'm over to you. Thanks so much.
Good evening, Don. Thank you for inviting AgriSeater to your platform. My name is Didintle Pilane. I am a marketing and communications practitioner at AgriSeater. This is one of the seaters formed to facilitate and support skills development in various industries in our country. And ours agriculture. Our scope covers the agricultural sector in terms of skills development of the agricultural workforce for the employed and unemployed. And basically, in my unit, we are responsible for overseeing the organization's corporate communications, managing stakeholder relations, and marketing our initiatives in the SETA.
Maybe just to talk briefly on what got you into working in the specific field. Is it your love of agriculture, love of training? Maybe just as a short background, I always like to know, how people got into the agricultural space and working within the sector.
Marketing has always been a passion of mine, and through God's grace, I guess I got the opportunity to work for AgriSeater. And through that, I actually learned more than I knew about agriculture. So I wasn't that clued up, but definitely through the exposure and working for AgriSeater, I got to learn more. I got to engage with a lot of people within the industry and grew the passion eventually. It's been 3 years, going to 4. And for now, I'm actually happy and cannot complain. The industry is growing. We are learning new things, and who knows, we might end up being farmers ourselves.
I love that. It's so awesome. I totally love that, Didi. So happy to hear from you and more about what you do. My next guest is Tanya. Tanya is from Agri Job Recruitment Specialist, and we'd love to know more about what you guys do. Tanya, maybe just a short introduction of you and more about Agri Jobs. Thanks.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me here. It's such a great honor and privilege to be here. I work for Agri Job Recruitment Specialists. I'm the project manager. People come to us when they're looking for employment, an internship, or when they'd like to advertise on our website. So we're a specialized recruit service in agriculture and food. So we focus on scarce skills and specialized positions throughout the entire value chain. So we have clients that are both graduates, and we have clients that from graduate level up to CEO level, if I can put it that way. We also have a Agri Career Connect event, which is a career fair that connects students and graduates to industry. So students and graduates can connect to companies in agriculture, food science, and other integrated disciplines. And then we have a career portal that students and graduates can browse regularly to find a job.
Thank you so much for being here and for sharing more about what you guys do. The reason why I decided on the space is because we are inundated with people looking for opportunities, within the sector, wanting to know more about where they can find placement, where they can find jobs, where they can find funding. So I'm hoping to have another space on that soonest, but now I'm so grateful to have people here who can advise a little bit on jobs, at least in the sector, and where you can find your ultimate career and a career path that works for you. My last and final guest is here with me. I know that Ipeleng is saying she's having trouble with the network, but welcome, Malapane. Malapane is an agricultural economist and also a ministerial representative of the Maize Trust, and he's walked a long journey with Food for Mzansi, and it's always a pleasure to have him join me. Malapane, thank you so much for being here. Maybe just a short introduction of who you are and what you do in agriculture.
Thank you very much, Dawn. It's always a pleasure to be here indeed. Greetings to the colleagues who have joined us here on the platform. My name is Malapane Tamara. I work very closely with AFASA, the African Farmers Association of South Africa, as an agriculture economist. I also work with the Agri Sector Unity Forum, ASUF. That is more of a combination of all the unions that you find in the sector. I'm also a trustee representing the minister in the Maize Trust.
So I think we have a good idea of everyone who's in the space, what they do, and what type of questions you can ask them as the conversation goes on. Did you tell us more about your platform called Connect Me, what it's all about, what it does for within the industry, young graduates, people looking to find job placement, and how it works exactly?
AgriCita Connect Me was launched by the Agricultural Sector Education and Training Authority, which is AgriCita, during the year of 2021. This is a platform which allows job seekers, this could be graduates or unemployed youth, to create a profile, showcase their skills, qualifications, and work experience while creating a database for employers that can find suitable candidates for the vacancies. At first, the platform was introduced as a mobile app, but we recently added the platform to our website for ease of use as a job seeker. And if you're listening, you can visit our website, www.agricita.co.za, and register your details. For now, it's been a success since the introduction, and it's proven to be quite effective with a couple of success stories from both our job seekers and employers at the moment.
It sounds like a really incredible platform to use. And of course, we'll go through, some of those success stories and more about, what makes it so special to use. What are some of the aspects that people should focus on? Some of the areas that they should maybe be aware of when uploading the information, what they should add, what possible future employers will look for. But maybe I can move over to Malapane and he can talk to us more about, what the Maize Trust offers in terms of their support for graduates and unemployed youth. What opportunities are there through AFASA? How should people be navigating the space, especially if I'm a young Black South African looking for job and employment?
The start is just to applaud that you for creating this platform, especially the topic we are discussing today. It's really important. When you interact now with social media, with young people, who are interested in agriculture, you get the feeling that, there are just so many people who are either already in the agricultural space or have interest, but really they're just not so sure, the direction they may need to follow. But luckily, the era we live in, it's an era of social media. All information is available out there, including through your platform, the Food from Zanzi, for the young people to sort of consume and get to understand what opportunities are out there. Just a brief background about the Maize Trust. Maize Trust was really established around 2000. It's a successor of the former Maize Board. There used to be a board for each commodity, and they used to sort of control single market channel, have control over the selling of that specific commodity and whatever that will be happening in that industry. Through the introduction of, the democracy, a new era, we followed a free market system, and the Maize Trust was one of the institutions that were created to sort of support the maize industry as a whole. The Maize Trust manages about 1 billion of assets, and only 6% of that is used annually towards different spending. And then the 2% of that, which is 1.3 million, is channeled through the bursaries that we offer to students that are either in universities, but our focus mainly it's on topics that speaks to what we are dealing with in the maize industry. So if you're doing anything that has to do with conservation agriculture, production research, mycotoxin, crop quality and climate change with specific to maize, then we tend to sort of look into your application. But in addition to that, for those who are interested in becoming farmers, we also have beneficiaries in the form of your SAGRA and Grain SA that we allocate money annually, which is budgeted at around 20 million rand annually, so that they can support new entrants into the agricultural sector. So if you are in that space, you can try your luck and see if you cannot be funded. But sort of a prerequisite to that, one will have to sort of demonstrate that they are interested in agriculture or already that's something that they are doing in the sector. So if you are young, maybe you don't really have land to farm or you have not started, it will be great to approach, someone who is already started so that they can sort of be your mentor and tap into their network. And along the process, you can unlock a whole number of opportunities, and who knows, they can also sort of give you a lease so you can farm on their farm. And in that way, then you can be good to go. And before you know it, you'll be sort of independent and be able to do things at your own farm.
Thank you so much, Malapane. And it's always great to get the insights in terms of how funding is allocated and where this money is going to specifically to support, young people within the country and specifically within the agricultural sector. And you've given us a clear overview of what producers of maize can go to and where they can find and access these opportunities. So thank you so much for that, Malapane. My last guest, Tanya, you can talk to us more about how your platform works and what opportunities there are for young people. Thanks.
Hi, yes, from lower level to CEO. So we have the career portal, as I said. And then one of the internships that I specifically want to speak about tonight is the Fresh Produce Exporters Forum internship, or the Fresh Produce Exporters Forum graduate placement program. So the industry organization, the Fresh Produce Exporters Forum, or the FPF, ran a number of initiatives to bring about transformation in the fresh produce exporters industry. So this program places high caliber graduates in junior commercial, logistical, and technical roles at various South African export companies for a year, and this then can potentially lead to a long-term opportunity, so long-term career employment. So the aim of this program is to integrate a growing number of talented BEE individuals into the commercial and operational heart of the industry. We use agri funding together with FPEF funds. There's 4 categories basically. So logistics, post-harvest quality management, administration, and finance. So this program was launched in 2016, and then AgriJob requested to join in 2019. In 2020, we placed 6 graduates, and then in 2021, we placed 12. In 2022, we placed 16, and then in 2023, we've already placed 7, and it's only the beginning of the year. That's one of the big things that we do. And then our Agri Career Connect, as I said, it's a career fair that hosts the connects the students and the graduates. And it's basically hosted at industry events this year. Graduates and students will be able to connect with companies at industry events. And then when they connect with the company, it'll also be live streamed to universities across the country, so that those that are not able to attend can actually get some career guidance as well. So examples of these events are like your Citrus Growers Association Summit, or CGA Summit, that is happening now on the 14th to the 16th of March. Nampo Harvest Day, that's happening on the 16th to the 19th of May. And then the AFMA Forum, which is happening in September.
It sounds absolutely amazing, and it's so great that AgriSeed is represented and you guys are working together with AgriSeed on this program that you're specifically mentioning as well. Back to Didi. Didi, maybe just more about the positive stories, of people using your platform, Connect Me, and just getting some insights in terms of that. Thanks.
We've had a couple of students who have actually graduated at some of agricultural colleges around South Africa who have come forward and actually sort of given us a thumbs up in terms of how the app itself has helped them to be more visible. And employers have actually contacted them directly through the app, offering them jobs. And I'm hoping most of them are employed now and have successful stories to further tell other people who are looking for jobs out there. We have Sidara College graduate in KwaZulu-Natal who wasn't a fan of the app as well, more specifically because it was a mobile app. But I guess he tried it out and he has good results. Some of our employers in the industry have contacted him, and to his surprise, he was actually shocked that it works, because most career portals, you would apply for a job and you would still need to go through agencies and be vetted for all kinds of reasons. But this one is more direct. It closes the gap between the job seeker and the employer. And luckily, the employer just contact him directly for the opportunity that they had. So for now, it's growing. I think the website is making things easier, and people are more satisfied with the website being easy to use and getting more results through that.
Thank you so much, Didi. Some of the biggest challenges young people face to find these opportunities, I think one of the things that I'm obviously very aware of is accessibility. for rural communities that might not have access to internet services, to websites, to just general technology that gives them access to these spaces, like this one, for example. And what are some of the other issues and challenges you think can come up when looking for opportunities if you're in the sector and you don't have access to this type of information? Tanya and Didi, do either one of you want to maybe take this question, and then hopefully Malapana can come through once his network is back?
The biggest challenge that people face is knowing where to start. I think a lot of the time people are not sure where to start and then actually finding the opportunity. And I think our career portal is a very good place to start. And I would say to young people, apply until you find the right job. Make sure that your CV matches the requirements that are needed. As Maya Angelou put it, do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better.
No, definitely that's a good place and a good sentiment to have moving forward within the sector, and looking at some of the opportunities that Food from Zanzi offers or your platforms offer. There are definitely opportunities for people to step into and take on as a start and then just run with it. I think it's about having conversations and having access to information. That's also very important. Alapanya, are you with us?
Yes, I managed to catch your question. I think for me, the best way, in as much as, as an entrant, you apply for opportunities, it's always good to sort of network, like when Food from Zanzi hosts activities of this nature, to be available to also, especially the physical one, and identify the people that you may want to talk to, especially your speakers. Sometimes opportunities come through interaction rather than, having to sort of apply. When you speak to people and they get to appreciate where you come from, what you do, and sometimes it speaks to them and they figure out that, there are actually other opportunities elsewhere. And in that way, somehow the new entrants may be able to get opportunities. Even myself, I think that's the approach that, I followed, after having worked with BKB. What I personally did was to sort of identify areas that I'm interested in. So I realized that I wanted to work more closely with the organized agriculture. So I sort of wrote to each and every CEO, including board members of different unions of different commodities. And that's how I landed at NERPO and now with AFASA and now sort of in the industry involved.
Thanks, Malapane. I think that's definitely something that can never be overlooked. I mean, I make a point of trying to connect with new people weekly to be able to get them into these spaces as a start, and then hopefully getting people to listen and engage, even if it's just a follow, and then connecting via DM and then calling and then messaging. That's a big part of what I do, what we do here collectively on Food from Zanzi and as part of Gather to Grow, and this that we created to share this type of information. And I think that's a really big part of how to develop in yourself, but also just as you build your career. Maybe if I can go back to Didi, and maybe if you can advise more on key areas to focus on in terms of placement, maybe just going through your application process and what you expect people to upload or have as a requirement for Connect Me and to be able to be part of this network.
With regards to the Connect Me app, it's basically an opportunity for a job seeker to sort of advertise themselves. I emphasize on advertise because we're really giving them the ground to just tell us what they are qualified to do, what they are skilled at. And they might not necessarily give us more information as to what they're looking for. But the nice thing about it is that the employer would then come and look at the skills and the pool of skills that we have available in our database and pick and choose from that large group of qualified people. So we don't have like a requirement or sort of like a set criteria. We're basically just giving an opportunity to the job seekers out there to just advertise themselves and tell the employer what they're already skilled at or qualified at so that they can be chosen, hopefully. And these are some things that we would normally go through in interviews, perhaps. But because of the app itself and the information that we sort of identified as key, it would be more appealing to the employers in that regard.
It definitely does. Thank you so much, Didi. And I'm sure everyone here looking for any kind of opportunity to grow will go to your website and find out more and share, hopefully, with others they know who might need this kind of opportunity. Maybe it's Malapane more about the Maize Trust and the bursary opportunities and some of the funding that gets streamlined towards producers. Maybe just more about timelines, when one can apply, how one can apply, what the requirements are, if there are any, and more about the people that have come through your programs. Thanks.
For the bursaries, they are normally out towards, the end of the year, around August, September. So I can only advise those who are interested to just keep on the look on the Maize Trust website on www.maizetrust.co.za. And in terms of, being a beneficiary of our beneficiaries, maybe benefiting from your Green SA, FAMSO, and SAGRA, you can also, have a look on their website. But also just to add, what is happening in the maize industry is not really unique to just the maize industry. If you look throughout other commodity groups, you notice that they also offer similar opportunities. So I would advise those who are interested to also look at your RPO for red meat, to look at your hot grow, to also look at your sugar or citrus SA for those who are interested in fruits. So in all these commodities, there are a whole lot of opportunities. So once you grab it, and you're likely to be absorbed by that industry.
Thank you so much, Malapane. And I actually maybe think that there's an opportunity to do this again and invite the other commodity organizations to also join. I handpicked a few for this specific session, but of course, there are other opportunities to get more people into the space, and maybe closer to when this bursary season or application process is open and people can ask questions and engage with it on a deeper level. So thank you so much also just for highlighting that, Malapane. Agri Jobs is Tanya. Tanya, maybe just, I think you had made specific reference saying that there's a specific portal that is there available for these scarce jobs that need people within the sector to be placed in it. Maybe you can just talk more on that specifically.
So our career portal is where you can upload your CV. We have the POPI Act in place. So when you upload your CV, you immediately sign the POPI Act so that, your information is protected. And then we have a list of all the candidates that are on our database. When we are looking for a specific job, there are times where we say now there's a specific job and we cannot find a specific candidate. Then if you are uploaded onto the portal, then we can go and find your profile and see if your CV matches the requirements for the job. And then we can contact you and see if we can arrange an interview for you.
It sounds pretty awesome and very accessible, and there's a clear flow of what happens and how people can access these opportunities. So thank you so much to everyone for sharing what they do and what they do in the industry and how they're supporting, graduates and people trying to find these opportunities. I think I'm going to try and just get last comments from my speakers if there's anything else that they want to share. And I see Ivor has requested the mic. Ivor, thank you so much. I'm sure you're tired. You guys have been out on the road, creating a space for young, bright minds to also be part of agriculture through the Food for Mzansi Agri Career Roadshow. So, yeah, he's just requested the mic. I don't see him popping up just yet. Ivor, are you there?
Don, maybe while we wait for Ivor, I can just, one other thing that maybe we may need to encourage or maybe start initiating, creating the relationship between our institutions of higher learning, especially the colleges, with the industry. So there seems to be a sort of divorce between, especially the colleges, your FETs that specializes in agriculture, and what is happening in the industry. If you were to sort of pull a student and ask them about who they know, institutions they're familiar with in the industry, they are less likely to sort of say, these are the players. So I think as you do your career expos, maybe, there's also a gap there so that, those who are studying towards agriculture, because some, they land there maybe because they had spotted other opportunities, but they're eventually in agriculture. They're just not so familiar with what is happening in the industry. So there's sort of a room to have more engagement so that the students know about we just learned about the AgriCita Connect, the other opportunities that are offered by our colleagues here. So I thought I should just share that with the sort of a little, exposure that one has had you see prominence of your UP Stellenbosch in what we do and less of other institutions of higher learning.
Thank you so much, Malapane. And that's a very, important point that you're making. And Ivor was just messaging me to say that he would like to contribute. And I think he'll have some insight because as part of our roadshow, with this round, we have Venda University joining, Stellenbosch University joining, Agri Colleges International joining, Agri Skills Institute also joining. These young people have access to these universities, these colleges that are able to support them and share all of this information with them through this program that Put from Zanzi is doing as well. I was just saying that he's having some trouble with his network, but he would like to contribute. So maybe while we wait for him to connect, maybe AgriSeeters, Didi, and the Connect Me program can just talk more. Last final comments, encouraging people to join, why they should join, why it's so important just to list your information. And maybe I can also ask if your qualifications are changing or if you're improving, if you have new courses. How often should you update your data or your information on this platform? Ivor, are you with me?
Yes, I am. Sorry, Don. I just had to switch off my Wi-Fi. We are in Magaliesburg, preparing for our next Agri Careers Roadshow. Good evening, everybody. I am just so inspired by what I heard tonight. All the different organizations putting out all these options for young people in South Africa who desperately need it. Yeah, in our second week of the 2023 edition of our National Agri Careers Roadshow, I would like to invite everyone on the call tonight. If you're not already partnering with us, please do. It's so exciting. And actually, just 2 days ago, Dawn, I heard from a graduate who was attending the Limpopo Agri Careers event in Gapani. It's just outside Judges Kloof in Limpopo. And he was carrying his qualification, his degree in agricultural economics in a flip file. And he came to the Food for Mzansi event because he heard we were there. He's still on the website. And he told me that he was registering on AgriSeeter Connect. And I found that so inspiring. Apparently, it's quite a simple process to fill in your details. I would like to see more employers in the agriculture sector embracing the platform. Imagine the beauty if also employers use these platforms to find job seekers in this country. There are many, and also many unemployed graduates for whom we have to help find a home.
Thank you so much. I have a very important point, and I think that's also maybe something that our guests tonight can just talk about in terms of it's not just an opportunity for employees, but employers to also share their details. Tanya, maybe you can touch more on that. But I want to maybe just go over to Didi next and then just maybe share a little bit about the nitty-gritties about once you've uploaded your information, how often should you check, updating that process, mentioning from the app to the website, logging details, all of those small things that might be overlooked if I'm a new person, just wanting to start and accessing this information. Thanks, Didi.
I'd like to say that we didn't pay Ivor to say anything great about us, but thank you for the inspiring story, and we hope we get to meet the prospective job seeker, and I hope our app will actually add to his journey. For us, it's a matter of creating a pool of qualified people for the employees to go and search for these people and to find them. We make this database available to these employers and we give them a variety of choices to update your information. You could update it in terms of what you've qualified for and maybe more qualifications that you've acquired. But once you're on the app itself, you have basically already opened the first door. And once you walk into that room, there's already employers on the table looking at your CV and looking at your qualifications for the first step. We're not really involved between getting the employer to talk to the job seeker. But as I said earlier, there's a couple of stories where the employer has directly connected with the job seeker, and that did not even involve us. We would probably be traveling into the specific area and we hear a good story about our app. So we would only hear word of mouth with regards to the success around it, but we don't want to be the middleman, just a bridge that closes the gap between the two people. One other important thing that I wanted to add was that for job seekers, and we encourage this during our career exhibitions, it is important to look at what jobs are in demand in the industry. These are jobs that we sometimes overlook and we do not really focus on because we might be, let's say, following our passions in whatever industry we're going for. But the small jobs that we overlook are the jobs that are readily open and waiting for someone to occupy. We encourage job seekers to look into those scarce critical skills that are open, and we hope that in that it will guide them with their career choice.
Yes, it definitely does. And I know that what we did with the Food from Zanzi and AgriCita and the Connect Me series, specifically on our podcast, and a series of stories featuring a lot of these people who are in these scarce positions, encouraging people to take it up, was really great to see. And so I would like to maybe just go back to that also. I think I should go back to it and maybe go and list them, and maybe as we prepare for the next session, based on the topic. I like to do it as part of a series. So I'll sometimes do a part 2 if there's room for it. There's a chance to talk more on a specific topic. So maybe in our next session, I'll come back and I'll list those jobs and then have people who's in the jobs talk about what they do in more detail. So thanks so much just for reminding me of that again, Didi. Tanya, maybe just the last, some advice from you, especially for new people stepping into a workplace environment, maybe for the first time, maybe you just graduated. You always get that advice from an aunt or an uncle or someone who's mentoring you, and they can maybe say, do this, do that, and look out for this, look out for that. But maybe as a specialist in the field, working, finding placement, connecting people, what advice would you give graduates or job seekers? Thanks, Tanya.
First of all, I want to agree with Dawn. Definitely go and look at the jobs that are there, that are often overlooked, because those are often the jobs that are in demand. Secondly, with agriculture, you need to have a passion for it. Oftentimes, or always actually, plants don't stop growing over the weekend, animals don't stop growing. So you are going to work long hours, and you need to have a passion for what you are doing so that your passion can carry you through in those long hours. As Malapane said, networking is of the essence, and having a mentor is absolutely of the essence. And then what I'd really like to say is when you make mistakes, don't give up. Apologize, learn from your mistakes, and move on. Making mistakes is a normal part of learning, but reflect and move on. It's like driving. You can't drive with your eyes always on the rear view mirror. Another thing, when you are looking for a new job or when you've just started with a job, assess what you need for the job. Do you need to study? Like, what information do you need? Do you need to study the information? Have you got the information? Do you need to do a course? You need to look it up. Remember that we need to be lifelong learners, and learning doesn't stop once you have a degree. Sometimes you may have to spend money on a course, but if you're serious about your future, you will do it. Now, I realize that not everybody has the ability to spend a lot of money on extra degrees and courses and stuff. So remember that there are a lot of online magazines and newspapers that you can read as well that are free. So, for example, there are some free articles in the Farmers Weekly that you can read. Remember, this is an investment into your future. Also remember that you need to do a lot of voluntary work or holiday work, and that you need to gain experience during your university years already. It does not have to be in agriculture. It can be in something like waitressing or tutoring. These jobs, for example, teach you to work with sometimes difficult people. They're not always difficult, but it helps you to get experience with all types of people. And then obviously, always browse our job portal regularly to ensure that you see what jobs are available.
Thank you so much for that, Tanya. And it's so great to just get that sound advice. I did say that there's always someone that you can ask for advice and it'll be there. So thank you so much for that and for listing it so beautifully. Maybe just also to mention that Food from Zanzi, if you're in the farming sector, wanting to know more about different commodities, this platform weekly will give you access to so many experts, and that we host here to just, gather and grow and improve skills and improve knowledge on different commodities. Next week, for example, we're talking about mopane worms. Part of this trip that I was doing with Food from Zanzi and Agri Careers and a great project that we're working on, I bought myself some mopane worms just to experience and taste it before I do the Twitter space next week. So I'm going to be cooking up some mopane worms and hopefully get to taste it before I get to know more about how it's grown, where it's produced, and where we can actually find these very tasty worms that people keep raving about. Thank you so much for joining us and for being here and for being part of this Twitter space. Didi, maybe just one last word from you. I don't think I asked you for a closing statement, did I?
No, I don't think you did. Try my best. To everyone joining in, I'm hoping that we did share some information that's actually relevant and helpful. And in terms of looking for a job, unfortunately, look, you have to go to the website, you have to go make the calls, you have to go onto the social media platforms. And that's how technology has sort of directed us. But go into those websites, go to our AgriCita website, our social media platforms. And if you can, attend these career exhibitions and career shows where we part with information and we share information regarding the job opportunities that are available, the careers that one can follow, the open opportunities with regards to what is in demand and what you can focus on. There's tons of different organizations that sort of offer funding with regards to learning programs and bursaries and learnerships, internships, graduate placements, AgriCita being one of them. And I can just encourage everyone to make that first step. You just need to get the information. Lack of information sort of lands everyone in sort of a dark space where you think you really do not have any opportunities. But I can safely and confidently say that you just need to make the step of visiting the websites, visiting the social media platforms, and engaging with us. We have different platforms where you can engage us, specifically AgriCita, which is on social media platforms, on our website. And if everything is overwhelming and you need some kind of attention from us, you can always send us an email using the address info@agricita.co.za, and we will answer any questions that you may have. The app for job seekers is AgriCita Connect Me. It's available on mobile phones and it's available on our website. I hope this is useful. I hope this helps someone who's listening. And if it doesn't, please do share. Good luck to everyone. Hope it's a great year for everyone who's listening. Thanks, Dawn.
Thank you so much, Didi. I'm so happy that you guys were able to join as well. Malapane, do you maybe want to try and request, and I'll give you maybe just a last chance just to leave an inspiring word, maybe just also information and for people to access, resources through the Maize Trust and AFASA and all of the commodity organizations that you mentioned. I think I'm definitely going to try and do a part 2 on this one, closer to when bursaries, opportunities open up. And I think by that time, we would also still be busy with our Agri-Career Roadshow as Food from Zanzi. So Malapane, maybe just last comments from you. Thanks.
Just to say, Dawn, I think we are more even better when we sort of work together. Could be that it's something you need. I know that you've got more to offer, actually. There's nothing really that stops each one of us to engage and figure out, maybe you need clarity on this and that you're not so sure about. Feel free to DM, feel free to inbox via Facebook or Messenger. Otherwise, you can visit the Maize Trust website and just scan through what Maize Trust has to offer. Maybe lastly, Dawn, there have been, a number of recording around, some of the beneficiaries of the Maize Trust. If you go to your platform on Farmers Weekly, there have been a number of graduates that have been speaking around the benefits that they got from the Maize Trust. Maybe just for those who are interested in our bursaries, to listen to them. Maybe they may get one or two inspiring words from them. And then you never know what you can get out of that.
Thank you so much, Malapane, and thank you so much to all of my speakers and everyone who contributed tonight. I really appreciate you taking the time out despite the network struggles, despite the load shedding struggles. Thank you so much just for being here. So I'm really excited to cook my Mopane worms before the next space. I'm going to try them and then hopefully get lots of insights from the chefs. And she calls herself the Mopane Queen. So I'm looking forward to get to know more of the people who produce it, package, agro-process, all the people who's working with the specific commodity. So thank you so much and for joining me next week again. Have a great evening, everybody.